All right, and welcome back to another episode of Rebel with a Cause. I am your host, Eric, and joining me today, I have a twofer. Actual anarchy in the house. Robert and Daniel, how's it going?
What's up? Thanks for having us.
Well, I would say blood pressure, but I fixed that problem, so now I can say blood alcohol level. So there you go.
Perfect.
Good choice.
Yeah, and I'm not at work, so that's not going to get me in trouble at all. So, anyways, guys, how's it going?
It's going well
Yep,
for being
good.
on lockdown in FEMA Region 6 or whichever one we're in.
Yeah, I probably need to look up my FEMA region and decide if I'm going to be the warlord of that region or not. You know.
Yeah. Now, I've been on with you once before. It was right around Halloween in 2018.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, a little while. And, I think back then we were like, hey, you should come on our show. And we haven't done that yet.
No, not at all. I was like, kept waiting for that email, but it just never showed up.
Yeah,
Just
well, we'll make it happen.
No, it's been a long time. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, when was the last time I had Daniel on? I had to go scrolling back. I was like, whoa, it's been a long time. And I've never actually talked to Robert yet. So
Yeah, this is true. I am a rebel virgin, so it's good to be here. What is Rebel with a Cause? Tell me about it.
Well, I started this just basically doing it in my car whenever I had free time because I part-time drive for Uber, and in Baton Rouge it's not too busy, so you get plenty of time in between calls. So I would just take out the old phone and just start recording whatever was on my mind. Sometimes I would do like a national story or a local story and do whatever libertarian liberty bent to it. And then eventually it's kind of grown into the show now where I just get people on. We have a little talk about liberty stuff, basically the what I refer to as the back porch or barbecue episodes, where we're just kind of shooting the shit for a little bit. Sometimes fun stuff happens. So
Right on. I dig it.
Yeah.
Are you from there? Like originally?
No, originally I'm from my mother. Louisiana is just kind of where I ended up.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Omaha, Nebraska. Moved out west to Nevada for a little bit, Texas, Louisiana, Georgia. I've been all over.
He's been everywhere, man.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny Cash.
That's right.
Hence the black hat.
I dig it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, Louisiana is kind of like a black hole. Every time I try to leave, they always bring me back. I recently just tried to move to Dallas, and that wasn't working out, so I had to move back again. So,
Well, what's Louisiana like right now?
It's sort of shut down, and it really sucks when your entire state just requires tourism dollars from New Orleans, and you can't go to a bar. And New Orleans was one of like the hardest hit areas because you got people stacked on top of people, and they live dirty. So, yeah, not been too fun. But here recently, I noticed that there was a sharp increase in traffic going around town. So I think people have reached the point where I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to drive around now. So.
Yeah, same here. I am living in a small, tiny little town, but it was a ghost town for at least a month or two. And now it's almost back to full normal, if not bigger than normal on weekends, which is nice.
Yeah, now you just get the dirty looks when you walk into a store or something with no mask or gloves on. So we'll have to adjust to that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Neither am I. Yeah, it was pretty.
I want to respect their private property and what they do. If this is what they want me to do to go into on their property, but it's like, come on, guys. Really? Are we going to have the airport checkpoints at every freaking double door going into a store?
Yeah, the only time I've actually been stopped going into a place was to the clinic because I had to go do like my yearly blood work type stuff, and there they had a nurse stationed out in front giving you the thermometer and give you a little sticker that says you're okay to be inside. But so far that's been the only thing.
What about all the asymptomatic carriers? I thought that was a big deal.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, how are you going to tell one way or the other if they're asymptomatic? Then
Exactly.
Do they really have it? But yeah, my younger brother actually had it, and he spent 4 days in the hospital, And one of those days he had 103 temperature and they couldn't get it to lower. So they actually had to put ice bags underneath his armpits, trying to reduce his fever. And he has
a full
asthma.
recovery?
Oh yeah. He's up and about now, but we're a little worried because he has asthma. So,
okay.
But yeah, he pulled through. He survived. He's one of the 98.8% that survived the thing. So,
Did he give it to anybody else?
His family, because afterwards they wanted to test them, they all had antibodies for it. So at some point they got exposed, but didn't show it or might have had mild symptoms. But he thinks he got it from some guy at work who just looked like he was about to die. So,
yeah, it was my understanding that eventually they expect nearly everyone to get it.
Yeah, that's been the rumor.
Yeah, until there's a herd immunity, and then I guess everyone would have the antibodies, or would it work where the virus just wouldn't be able to penetrate like beyond that?
Yeah,
like it just would be ineffective.
Yeah, I think for the most part, it probably spreads really quickly. But then, if you're not over the age of 50 and already have like pre-existing conditions, you'll probably pull through it. I'd hate to use that cliche phrase. It's like, it's no worse than the flu. The flu is bad enough, but this thing, I think everyone's kind of overreacted to it. Especially in Dallas, Texas, where I just came from, where that judge was like, well, don't you feel like you're being selfish talking to that lady who wanted to reopen her salon?
Yeah, screw that guy, man. I watched that video. That just pissed me off.
Oh, I was standing up cheering and clapping when I heard it. It was like, well, it's not selfish for my stylist and I to want to feed our children,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a hero.
Yeah.
She's great.
But
I think calls now for her to be released, which is good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but I mean, it was only a 6-day sentence or something.
I think Abbott already ordered her released.
The Texas governor.
Yeah. So that's at least good news. But that whole shit show right there is just. And then to send like the SWAT team with the porkiest of the porkers to go and arrest her, because those pictures didn't do the sheriff's deputies any favors. They all looked like they were packing, Big Macs and extra large.
They started to GoFundMe for like a treadmill for their department.
At that point, I don't even think that would even work. They'd probably just use it just to hang their hats on,
Yeah, put their Dunkin' Donuts box on there.
Yeah. Set it up like a conveyor belt so they can, sit at the end with their mouths open. Just
sprinkle some Doritos out there and
catch the errant Dorito dust in the air. I don't know. It's North Texas, so it might be more Cheetos fans. You never know.
Oh yeah.
So how's it been going up there in Washington State? Now that you've got the murder hornets flying around.
I haven't noticed any of these murder hornets, Daniel. Have you seen any of these things? I know we got them here supposedly, but
we have a bee house or beehive on our porch.
Oh,
I don't know if there are murder hornets in it or not. There's like mason bees, and I wonder if the invading forces might displace them and overtake their homes. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, people have been sharing that video of Coyote Peterson getting stung by a murder hornet over and over again. So I've seen it a whole bunch of times. Those things are as big as my thumb. They are huge. If I saw that thing flying at me, I'd be like going, holy shit, we're being invaded.
I would probably run.
Yeah, really.
I'd be more afraid of that than COVID. That's for damn sure.
For good reason. That in that video of Coyote Peterson, after he got stung, his whole arm locked up, like he couldn't even move it, and then the pain lasted for a couple of days. So,
it reminds me of that one guy who has intentionally stung himself with every known poisonous insect around the world. And he's rated them on a scale. I don't know where the murder hornets land, but he's talking about stinging himself with, insects, I think like fire ants and all kinds of things that the pain lasts for days, and then he goes out and he finds a worse thing to sting himself with. I mean, what he's going to do for science, I guess. I don't know, man.
I wonder if it's any way related to the Schmidt pain index.
I think that's it.
Yeah, maybe that guy.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Don't you think, though, that by injecting himself this many times that he's going to be altering his own body's chemistry and reaction to these things, so his perception is going to alter over the course of time just naturally because he's getting used to it, and he's also developing antibodies and all of these things. So, and it's a subjective measurement anyway. So how valuable is this really going to be?
I don't know. I'm a redhead, so I feel pain totally different than the rest of you normies. So.
It might be difficult to get volunteers for the unbiased study on that one, Daniel.
Right. Well, and there's really no way to measure it, right? Like they'll have the little sad face to happy face chart when you go to the hospital, and you're supposed to pick one.
Yeah. What was it? My uncle said it was like always tell them it's an 8. Because 9 is really, really serious. Like that's broken femur territory. But 8's pretty bad, you know.
Yeah.
It'll get them
7 or 8.
Up yet.
Yeah. Say 7 or 8 and they'll give you the good stuff.
Yeah, really. Of course, being a redhead, that comes with its pitfalls because when the doctor comes in, it's like, okay, we're going to give you a shot of Demerol. And you're just like, nope, that's not going to work.
Yeah, so how are you a redhead down in the South? That can't be working out.
Well, you know, I get a whole 4 minutes of sunshine before I have to run inside before I catch fire.
Yeah.
Both from the sun and people wanting to burn me at the stake for being one of, you know, the devil's children. So.
Well, that's just pragmatic. Makes good sense. That's just good policy right there.
Now, Robert, are you technically not a redhead, but you have a lot of the same, I don't know.
What are you trying to say, Daniel? What do you say what you mean? You don't need to veil it through this hate speech. Just tell me.
Yeah, he's being very gingist.
You a ginger fuck?
I got a little bit of reddish. I don't know. It's crimson. A little bit of crimson.
Well, you got the pasty, sensitive, sun-sensitive skin.
Yes, I know. I've had it my whole life. Thank you.
And the freckles. You got freckles.
You know, I think the freckles have mostly, well, no, it's true. I have them on my arms. Those are always been here, but I used to have them on my cheeks. I don't know about you, Eric, but they pretty much disappeared.
Never had the freckles on my face. Well, mine's have always been on my arm, and we get a new freckle for each soul we consume. So just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I once read, I think in like some kind of science journal, that you're going to get all the freckles you'll ever have by the time you're age 25 or something like that. And that was just total lie.
Total lie. You just get more.
Yeah, you just keep getting them. They just keep popping up no matter what. You expose some new area of skin to the sun and swarms with freckles. Yep.
Because then your skin is like, oh, we need to guard ourselves. All this UV radiation going on.
Because otherwise it's all guarded from the sun. I mean, I don't expose my skin to that thing, that murder death ball. I'm not going to do that.
The giant ball of burning plasma in the center of our solar system. You know.
That both gives me life and plagues me.
Yes. Yeah, I have a friend who's a strawberry blonde, but he actually tans when he goes out in the sun, so I call him Daywalker.
I know a Daywalker, yes. It's rare, but they do exist.
It's like, you son of a bitch.
The lucky ones.
Yep.
Half a soul.
Half a soul. Yeah, we aren't soulless. We are very soulful. So it's just the other souls that we have consumed over the years. But the other redhead fact is you can't have two redheads in the same room together because then they start plotting each other's demise. We're genetically predisposed.
Oh, can there be only one?
There can be
a Highlander situation?
Yes.
Understandable. You got to collect all the souls that the other one has absorbed.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. And I think we just figured out the movie to have you on for, Eric.
Oh, for Highlander?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Because I recently rewatched it and I'm like, oh, it's so 80s.
That's good for us. We went on an 80s streak for the last, was it like around last fall, Robert? We were doing a bunch of 80s flicks, Karate Kid, When Harry Met Sally.
Mm-hmm.
Gremlins. Kind of went through the
Yeah,
gamut there. It was good. It was a good time.
all the blockbuster ones. Yeah,
Varying results, but yeah.
varying results. Oh, Robert, one day you'll like a movie. One day.
Yo, man, I don't know if you've listened to it lately, but I have actually enjoyed more movies than Dan. Daniel's been the main hater.
Oh, Daniel's starting to turn into the curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the old angry man.
Turned it around recently, yeah. The one movie I didn't like the most was Kick-Ass.
I heard that episode with Raylene. Yeah. It actually gave me something to think about because when I watched it, I was just like, okay, well, this is a stupid popcorn movie. I could just watch this and turn my brain off for a little bit. And then after I was hearing you guys talk about it, I was like, oh, yeah, there's some problems with it, isn't there?
That's what we do. We ruin movies.
You awaken that secret part in the back of my brain.
But that's our job.
Well, we got to make something out of nothing. So
true.
Yeah. And if we get someone to think a little bit differently about it, because we do pepper in a little bit of philosophy and economics now and again. I mean, less so now. Like Robert pointed this out at the end of Napoleon Dynamite, I think, where we're more of just a plain old movie review show now, where we used to be far more heavy on like trying to fit in economic arguments and things like that. I don't know if it's because we're now sort of out of our evangelical phase, or we've done this so much that we forgot what we had said, or
just how many times can you repeat the same economic facts and stuff? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's nice to throw it in there every now and then, especially if the scene applies to it. But speaking of Napoleon Dynamite, did you guys watch the after credit scene?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, because not that
Can't
many
do a
people know
wild
about
stallion, man.
Yeah,
it's a great scene.
Yeah, I heard that was half the budget. So they shot that after the studio bought it to release it. They're like, well, we need some kind of epilogue.
Yeah.
And so they took, I don't know, like $40,000, and the whole budget for the movie was like $40,000. So they doubled the budget just to get that 5-minute scene at the end.
Yeah. It's so great because I'll talk to some people and they're just like, wait, there's an after credit scene? I was like, yeah, there is. It's great.
Yeah,
before Marvel, there was Napoleon Dynamite.
That's right. Kit married LaFonda. It was great. Uncle Rico was there.
He sings about technology. It's so good.
Yeah. Actually, my favorite part of that movie was Dietrich Bader's part. He's like, no one wants to take a roundhouse kick in the face while you're wearing these bad boys.
He's the best side character in the movie, easily.
Yeah. That was a big part of our show, was to determine who were the main leads and who were the side characters, and who was the best side character. And I love when he's choking out the woman. He says, "And the wisdom of a man."
Yeah,
wisdom of a man.
I probably need to go back and rewatch that. It's been way too long. Especially when he's trying to explain the difference between a liger and a Tygon, I think.
It doesn't get old, man.
But yeah, and then listen to our episode. See if you get any new perspective.
Is there new perspective? Did we have some insight into that movie? I don't remember having like specific... Oh, that's right. Daniel's huge thesis. He tried to sell us on this thesis about how it was a coming of age story about broken homes and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and infantilized grown men who are still children.
Kip is the living embodiment of that. I mean, what was it, $4.99 a minute on the internet there?
Yeah. Your grandma pays for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I made I think a pretty strong argument. I mean, it wasn't like fully formed, but I think it was enough to get some wheels turning.
Well, it was the best point made, but didn't have a lot of competition.
It was also the only point made. So
so it's the worst point and the best point.
Our show is the worst show. It's also the best show in what we do.
Schrodinger's point. It's both good and bad at the same time.
Oh yeah, and we have a healthy mix of both. We have good moments, lucid moments, and then just really shit show moments where the rails, we fall off the rails occasionally. It's a good time.
Well, every show,
Biden moments lately where my brain just loses track. It's frightening getting older.
Yes. It's definitely not for the weak. That is for sure.
You just got to own it.
Yeah. As soon as the old white hair started showing up in the chin there, I was like, oh, there goes my youth right there.
Yeah.
I used to have the wonderful, 2 white stripes going down each end, and I was like, oh man, that looks so cool. And then it just all kind of grew together. I was like, dang it. Oh well.
Daniel still has his boyish good looks, except he's starting to look more and more like George W. Bush every minute.
Looking more and more like a war criminal. So it's good news, good for me.
Well, who's not a war criminal these days? I mean, come on.
Yeah, most of them are. Well, I consider what's going on now with all the shutdowns to be an act of war on our own people. So all those governors, it's sanctions. Sanctions are an act of war.
That is very true. When Ron Paul said it, he said it best. But that's one thing I've actually gotten into a heated argument about was economic sanctions put on Iran after the nuclear deal fell apart. And I was like, yes, that's an act of war. And someone was like, no, it's not. We're just preventing them from getting food and medicine and stuff until they start acting right. I was like, okay, rewind what you said.
Think about it.
Yeah. Let's put 2 and 2 together.
You're starving out people
and
violently.
Preventing them from getting medicine.
Yeah, and it's the population. It's not the leadership.
Yeah.
It's not their military that's being affected per se. I mean, yeah, the military probably has less available to abscond with, but they're still going to get the lion's share of whatever's there.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true in all regimes, like North Korea, where those government soldier jobs are highly sought after because at least you get to eat.
Hey, y'all, before we get back into it, I just want to tell you about a new podcast I learned about. It's called The Porcupine Perspective. Check them out. porcupinepov.porcupinepodcast.com.
Yeah, and even with the on the opposite side of that coin, with the foreign aid, you're now stealing from poor people in a rich country and giving it to rich people in a poor country. There's no way that can do well. So,
what's Walter Block call that? The 3 M's. So it's for Mercedes, munitions, and monuments, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds like Walter Block.
Or maybe you said machine guns. Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, because it's anyone can take a look at the Somalia issue back in the early '90s. That was all it was. Trying to get one to be the president of the country, and it was like stupid.
Yeah, we actually had a guest on for Captain Phillips, who's married to someone from Somalia. He's been there, or she's not from Somalia, right? She's like from Kenya, but he knew
like neighboring. But she's got a lot of family in there in Somalia, I think.
Yeah.
Like that.
So he gave us like a whole background on it during the episode. It was really good. It was interesting.
Yeah. What is it? Maersk is the ones that a whole bunch of stuff out there. So there's no other recourse than for the Somalis to be pirates.
That was basically, what the argument was made. Like that. What was it? I forget the exact reason why. But their economy had just been strangleholded.
Yeah, so it's like
that's lost.
Yeah, desperate people do desperate things, and piracy is among them. So pretty silly stuff. But you can't explain that to Jim Bob and Bubba Joe over down at the watering hole because they don't understand that kind of stuff.
Yeah, what is the culture like in the South? I mean, is it a lot of anti-government distrust?
It's such a weird mix because you'll see, an F-150 pickup go down the street, and it's got the Malone LeBay, Spartan shield and the, come and take it and everything, the Gadsden flag, and then right next to that there'll be a cross with a blue line in it indicating that Christian soldiers are the police. And they're
very confused.
Yeah, they just can't quite get. There was a great picture of some guy LARPing and I call them LARPers, but the guy had like a rebel flag, a thin blue line flag sticker on his plate carrier, and was talking about, if the government comes in here, we're going to do. I was like, look at yourself in the mirror for just a minute. A couple of these patches don't belong. But
consistency is not where you're not going to find a lot of it in most statists. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Not that we don't have it too, but I mean, everybody's got it, but it's just really obvious from our perspective.
Yeah.
This pandemic has really exposed a lot of people for just the biases and the misinformation and the echo chambers that have occurred. So now people are just totally dismissing out of hand anything that doesn't confirm their previously held beliefs. And it's also really amazing to me just how far more outnumbered we are than I expected, than I ever thought possible. I bet that the mortality rate that COVID's going to end up being is probably the population that is of like mind with us. Like we're 99.7% against outnumbered.
Yeah, it's one thing, when I go to like little Liberty meetups and I see like a bunch of new faces and I'm like, oh man, maybe we're really turning the corner here. And then I see video of parents and their children standing in their driveway singing the national anthem, or saying the Pledge of Allegiance. And you're like, oh, we're not there yet. So close, but yet so far away.
Yeah, there was some poll, right, that said that trust in government's higher than ever. Like what?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
Well, see, Robert, they're playing both sides. They're like Mac in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They tell you, one thing, and then they tell you the exact opposite. So they got to be right at least one out of the two times. So
that way they'll always be ahead.
So you just pick the thing you agree with, and then you're like, oh, these guys are good people.
Is that what you're saying? And then you got to shut down any dissenting voices. You got to use your connections with social media and other media to quell all dissent, shut it down, deplatform it, delete the videos, whatever. When those things happen, it makes me like, okay, what are they trying to hide? Why don't they want me to see this? So then I go and look for it.
Yeah, and even if I saw that Plandemic video go make the rounds, and I was like, okay, well, even if these people are just batshit crazy, let them talk.
Yeah, expose their bad ideas. If they're bad, expose their bad ideas.
Yeah, tell me where they're wrong.
Yeah.
Should be easy, right?
Yeah, then they had this one doctor who's like, well, I can just tell you right now, this person did this, and they're just terrible, and then, 5 seconds into the video, it's crazy sauce. I was like, okay, throw the ad hominems away. Just break it down. Where are these people going wrong at? But they can't do that. They're not without calling everybody stupid and crazy at the same time. So,
yeah, and the irony is that they're the ones behaving in this stupid and crazy way.
Exactly. Yeah, I just say let them talk.
Regard for trade-offs either. Like all these shutdowners, pro-shutdowners, have no conception of what the downstream effects are going to be.
Yeah.
Well, we're already running out of beef up here. I mean, we run this Thai food business, and I don't think we're going to even have beef tomorrow. We're looking into ways to do more vegetarian dishes and more chicken dishes because you just can't get it.
Well, Soylent Green is people, Robert. So that's what you got to do.
So we got to raid the COVID victims.
Yeah.
Turn them into Thai food.
Yeah, all of the bodies that are stuck up in refrigerated trailers.
Stacked up like cordwood. Those people just falling down in droves.
Yep.
Yeah, that's another episode we did recently. That was a really good episode.
Was the Pandemic movie or Outbreak? I guess one of the disease movies.
We did Outbreak, yeah.
Contagion.
Oh, did we?
Contagion, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. We should have done Outbreak because I think Outbreak is probably the better movie.
That movie actually had the most realistic firebomb scene I have ever seen in a film, right at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there watching it, I was like, yep, that's how napalm works. So they had a good technical advisor on that one, I guess.
Are you telling me you've seen napalm in real life there, Eric?
Oh, yeah. I was in the Army. I know what napalm looks like when it goes off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, is napalm is the gel? So it like...
Yeah, it's petroleum gel, and when it catches, it's blue flame, so it burns intensely hot. But because it's gel, it sticks on you, which for a human being is not going to be a good day.
No, that sounds like a war crime.
Just a little bit. So is white phosphorus, but we drop that all the time too. So,
Wow.
Yeah. Nasty, nasty shit. Human beings are good at killing each other.
yeah, human beings excel at being inhumane to each other. So,
All the more reason to not have a government.
yes.
Concentrate that power. Yeah. And we saw what happened in the 20th century. 11,000 people a day, every day for 100 years.
Yep.
So, Eric, when you were in the military, was it like you already had these views and you were just like, hey, this is a job I'm doing? Or did it help wake you up, or did it happen afterwards?
Yeah, it happened a little bit during that because it was 1998, and Osama bin Laden had just bombed the Khobar Towers. And so Fort Benning, Georgia was put on lockdown. And so our morning runs had MPs at every intersection and, watching us and everything, because you got to keep the eye on the trainees, I guess. But doing a exercise, we're learning how to capture prisoners. And one of the drill sergeants just thought he would be hilarious and say, well, I want you guys to throw these for a loop. I want you guys to say you're an American, you have rights. And, my hand goes up, drill sergeant, when would we ever be attacking Americans and arresting them? And he goes, well, you remember those riots back in 92? One day they'll beg for us to be in a big city. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So after that, when I got a hernia, it was like my golden ticket. I was like, okay, I'm out of here. I was like, yeah, but we fixed your hernia. You can continue. I was like, no.
You don't
No
understand.
mas. No mas.
No gracias.
So is that what Klinger should have done in MASH? Not try to be a woman, but just get a hernia or something?
Yeah, get a hernia. Yeah, there you go. Instead of trying to claim some kind of mental instability that nobody was believing, Or you could do the John Kerry route, make sure something blows up next to you so you can get a little piece of rice stuck in your skin.
Yeah, I don't know much about that. Is that the Swift boat thing?
Yeah, he was doing everything he could to get a Purple Heart so he can go home. So he would put himself into stupid situations to get himself hurt. So, but yeah, a lot of that was accurate.
But not like mortal danger, just like he knew he might catch a little something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there's been a couple movies, right, where somebody will just like stick their hand up out of the trench or expose some part of their body. I think in World War I they did that quite a bit, shooting themselves to try and get out of it.
Yeah, draftees. There was a whole bunch of stories while I was in the military. We had one guy who was on the cadre, that was the teaching staff, and he was talking to us, and he was in the Vietnam War, and he goes, yeah, draftees are the worst things you can possibly have in a war. I was like, okay, why is that? He's like, they'll do the dumbest things to get out of there. So, in the middle of the night when we're all crawling across a rice paddy, in the muck, in the dark, trying to sneak up on a supply line, and the draftee stands up and starts screaming and shouting, give away our position just so he can get shot. Yeah.
You're going to do shit like that, you get shot by your own guys.
Yeah, it's called fragging, and it does happen.
Yeah, wasn't that like the premise of the Michael J. Fox movie, Casualties of War?
Oh, man, that's been
I don't know. In Platoon, there
like,
was they killed one of the asshole sergeant guy.
Tom Berenger, the Scarface guy. Casualties of War. I have a hard time with that movie now that I'm thinking about it, because he wakes up on the train at the end, and I'm like, did he just dream all that, or was he actually there and just remembering it? Because it didn't really say.
It's been a long time since I've seen that one, but that was them like burning a village, right? That's like the My Lai thing.
Yeah, the My Lai thing, and then it was like part of it was burning a village and then raping one of the villagers. But at the end, it just confused me because he wakes up on the train, and it's like, okay, was this just a dream that he was having, or?
Don't know. I thought that Born on the 4th of July was all about the My Lai massacre. They both are. I don't know.
Yeah. I know the Born on the 4th of July also featured the protest at the DNC in Chicago. I'm getting my facts straight. Maybe
The 68.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Look at us all us talking vaguely about movies we're vaguely trying to remember.
Yeah.
Stimulating content.
Yeah. I haven't seen either of them in like 2 decades. So.
Well, now we just arrived at the title of the episode: 3 middle-agers trying their best.
That's us every week, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And God bless the glowing rectangle of human knowledge, because without it, I would be lost completely. So.
Yeah, I've really come to rely on the old telephone. Used to be able to just remember things. Now it's like, well, what does Google have to say?
Yeah. What is the new Oracle of Delphi? Tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I didn't have like reminders and a set schedule on there, I'd be lost, because I'm riddled with ADHD and I don't get medicated for it. So I'm fun to be around sometimes.
Ouch. Is that a choice, or is that lack of disability, whatever's?
Happened when I was younger, so I was like about 8 or 9. Got diagnosed with it. And then my dad was like one of those abusive types. He was like, "Yeah, we ain't giving you any kind of medicine. Those doctors don't know what they're talking about." So I don't know. I look back on it now, it's like, maybe I should have been medicated for it, but I've learned to adjust. So.
Have you ever tried stuff? I'm sure you've tried stuff.
No, I haven't tried a single thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Just got my little system of alarms and little reminder notes, and having the, fondle slab definitely helps, because it just automatically pops up for me. It's like, okay, your 5 minutes of goof off every hour is done. Time to get back to work. So.
Dig it.
Which I'm pretty sure I am a supervisor's worst nightmare. It's like, oh, he's always on that phone. It's like, yeah, if I didn't, I would be a mess.
What is it you do down there?
I am a civil designer. So all of those projects that involve, moving land around to make it look better, or in this case, it's a drainage canal that's going to go from the Mississippi River over into the Barataria Bay. It's like about 2 miles long. Keep sediment out of the river. So that one's consuming my time recently. So.
Sounds like a big engineering project.
Oh yeah, it's pretty huge.
Also sounds like you're fighting natural forces. Isn't that the whole point of a river, especially the biggest one that is around?
Yeah, it's really funny. You watch some of the old studies. It was like, okay, well, this was the river position 100 years ago, and here it is today. And then the Army Corps of Engineers had been fighting a battle trying to keep the Mississippi to flow through New Orleans to keep that port there. And if they would just let it, it would probably have gone through Lafayette at this point.
Really?
60 miles in the other direction. So.
It's gradually moving west?
Yep. And then, who knows? It could come back to east. It's if you ever take like a piece of glass and then like roll just water down it, you'll see that it'll change direction all the time, and it's basically the same thing.
But I mean, there's so much volume of sediment coming down, right? Like, isn't it just?
Yeah, and with the levee system they built, it basically comes out of the Mississippi out into the Gulf like a fire hose. So it just basically shoots out, and then it causes a swirling effect in the Gulf, and it deposits that sediment in other parts. So there's a part in Atchafalaya that's actually built up a couple of islands over the years, but has eroded some of the wetlands away in other areas. So
yeah. Isn't there a town at the end of one of those? It's Grand Isle or Grand Island?
Yeah, Grand Isle is one of those. It's a pretty popular fishing spot.
Okay. I met some guys from there like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Longer ago than that. Jeez, I was in high school. They were pretty funny.
Yeah, that's like their entire livelihood down there. Is they'll go down and fish all day on Grand Isle. It's a pretty nice little spot there.
Okay. Now, was that where Forrest Gump, Bubba Gump was from? Like in that movie?
No, that was
Viola Battery.
Yeah.
Viola Battery, Alabama. You didn't watch no movies, Daniel?
Hey, I haven't seen that in like 20 years. We got to do that one too.
We should.
Yeah, he's not Vietnamese enough to be a shrimp fisherman, so that's down to Fouchon, Louisiana, to go buy shrimp and stuff. That's all you deal with down there is the Vietnamese ship captains. And they've always got like their teenage sons and daughters doing all the translating for you.
So what created that situation? Like, why are there so many Vietnamese boat captains in that spot?
Yeah, that's the refugees from the Vietnam War. So a lot of them went to Houston. So if you ever go to downtown Houston, a lot of the signs are both in English and in Vietnamese. And then some of them came over to Louisiana because it's fairly similar to what they had back in Vietnam. So they took to it pretty quickly. So.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen other refugees tend to settle in certain areas and form communities. And so they'll be in little pockets around the country like that.
Yeah, it's really wild when you go up to Deer, Michigan, you see all of the Arabs and you're like, it's too cold up here. What are you guys doing up here?
And then there are a bunch of like Somalis up there too.
Yeah. Somali's another big population up there as well. Really good knefe and hummus, of course.
Yeah, nothing wrong with good food.
Yeah, exactly. I truly think that food will probably be the thing that will broker peace. Once we taste all the delicious dishes that they have, it's kind of hard to be mad at somebody when your stomach is full.
Of course, the flip side is after all these lockdowns, food might be getting scarce. So,
very true.
Yeah, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, you guys able to get beef where you're at right now?
So far, the only thing that I've seen in short supply is pork, which is really weird because we have a pig bomb that's going off over here in Louisiana and Texas. I mean, you could pretty much
last time I was in Texas.
Hogs.
Yeah, last time I was in Texas, they were all talking about the feral hogs, and if you see one, kill it if you can.
Yeah, it's pretty much open season on them. Yeah. Same thing over here in Louisiana. I mean, that and coyotes are the only two things that it's like there's no set limit to them. You can kill as many as that you need. But yeah, I like to make my own breakfast sausage. So I usually rely on ground pork, and when I go into the store, I can't find it anymore. So I have to take a pork loin if I can find that and dice it up in the food processor for it. But
yeah, I've seen a lot of stories about them thinning herds and culling hogs and chickens and all of those things, and they're tilling in onions and potatoes and all of these other crops because there's nobody to harvest them, there's nobody to process them, there's no restaurants open to use them, or there's very few or much fewer restaurants. And we get a box of meat delivered every month called Butcher Box, and they shut down taking new customers about 2 months ago when this started kicking off. We're still getting ours, but I heard Wendy's just stopped serving hamburgers.
Yeah, the full size, like the little juniors, they still have those. So like different size meat patty, I guess.
Yeah, I heard like 1 in 5 Wendy's is out of beef.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun day with all the Karens running around when people are starting to not get any food.
Yeah, not get their Happy Meals.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to talk to all the managers?
Oh, yes, every single one of them. But yeah, so far, food, not so much an issue. I have noticed there is a little bit of a dwindling supply of milk. But
I heard that they were like giving away milk because they got it. They can't move it because cows they keep producing regardless. So you gotta just dumping it or just donating it or whatever.
Aren't there a bunch of restrictions?
Marked down. It was like $4.50 a gallon at one point. Now it's like $2. So they are, not practically giving it away, but definitely on sale.
Just everything's all jacked up.
Yeah. It was really funny at first when everyone went crazy to go buy toilet paper. I would go over to the store just to see what they had. I was like, oh man, toilet paper's all gone. I was like, then the paper towels went, and then the party napkins went. And I was like, man, plumbers around Baton Rouge are going to be rich after this is all done. It's all those clogged toilets.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the sort of cascading failure. Like toilet paper would run out. So then paper towels, and then bidets. There was a run on bidets.
Yeah.
And then more recently, there was a run on generators and now freezers. So you can't find generators or freezers anymore.
Yeah, it's like all the stuff that you should have had already. But
it keeps moving back, up the supply chain. Like, okay, this is gone, so now we got to move to the next best alternative, and then those are gone. So there's a whole lot of stress going on in the system. It's kind of scary stuff. I mean, I haven't been in the store in almost 3 weeks now, and I think we got another week and a half before I need to go again. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, what it's like. I haven't been out in a while. Robert makes fun of me because I never leave the house anyway,
and rightfully so.
Not only is he turning into a curmudgeon, he's turning into a hermit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Curmudgeon-y hermit.
Next thing you know, Daniel's going to be sitting on the front porch. You dang kids with your hippity-hoppity music.
Oh, he's already yelling at his neighbors.
Already yelling at the neighbors?
Yeah. He was thinking about blaming a chicken death on one of his neighbors.
Uh-oh.
What are you talking about?
They murdered the chicken?
He killed the chicken, and then he didn't want to take the blame for it, so he was going to blame it on his neighbor, cause a bunch of strife,
under the bus.
give an excuse to invade.
Where are you getting this? I had a false flag with a chicken? What are you talking about?
Yeah, false flag chicken attack. Come on now.
No, I told the girl that dad screwed up. I took responsibility.
He's trying to Saddam Hussein excuse. They were slant drilling into my land.
They were babies and incubators.
Yes.
It's the Gulf of Chicken incident.
Chickens and incubators.
The Gulf of Chicken incident.
Yeah. I made the mistake of allowing the chickens and the dog to be in the same sector, and I wasn't quick enough to prevent the clamp down that was a little too rough on one chicken body.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Just a reminder for everybody out there, your lovely little Pomeranian, yes, was descended from a wolf from 30,000 years ago, and they still have some of that.
Ours practically is a wolf. It's a husky, so.
Oh, still more wolf-like than anything else. Yeah. Yeah, I have a blackmouth cur, and that is she's a 45-pound ball of muscle. And if she clamps down on something, it's not coming back up.
Is that kind of like a pit bull?
Yeah, they're kind of like that. If you ever take a look at some of them using your Fondle Slab or Google Matrix, yeah, they're a type of class of dog called maulers. So they'll clamp down on something and got really powerful jaws. As a hunting dog's meant to hold game down until the hunter came over to spear it. So
makes sense. They're just doing their jobs.
Yep, they have to work. So yeah, little fluffy white dogs around her. It's not going to be a good day for the little fluffy white dog. Can't take her to the dog park anymore. She's tried to murder too many of the little dogs. So it's like, okay, just going to get you out of this situation.
Jeez.
Yeah, our dog loves dog parks. It's like freaking going to Disneyland for her.
So many butts to sniff.
Yes.
Yeah, gets to run, chase things. It's perfect. But we haven't been able to go in a while, which is sad. Sad dog.
Yeah, and Husky is another high energy dog too. So you need to kind of work him around a little bit.
Yeah, and she's really smart. So
yeah,
she knows how to escape, or at least tries to. It's like this constant battle of she comes up with a new way to escape and I have to board that up somehow. And then she figures out another way. And when she gets out, she doesn't hang around. She's off running down the street and into the woods.
Yeah, my blackmouth cur did that. We had a half golden retriever and half black lab, and those two would escape together, and then they would go run around the neighborhood. Then the black lab got hit by a car, and ever since then she hasn't wanted to escape the yard. So,
no. Problem, reaction, solution. There you go.
But it's pretty fun. Yeah, let her go in the yard, and she'll bark at people down the street and everything. It was like, okay, dog, they can walk on the street. Let me know if they're actually in my driveway,
Yeah, dogs around here are very much, if I can see it, I'm barking at it. I don't care where it is.
Yeah, there's sometimes she'll just sit on because the way our couch sits, it's like right up against the window to the front door, and she'll just sit on the arm of the couch, just looking out the window, and I'll hear her start growling and everything. I'm looking at her, I was like, "What do you see?" And then all of a sudden, I'll see like a little dog, like a quarter mile away, just walking across the street, and I was like, "Seriously?" Not even close to me.
You don't need to warn me about that dog. It's okay.
It's like, yeah, I'm fine. It's like, please, just let me know when somebody's like in the driveway.
Show some discernment.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes she'll start growling over there. I was just like, hey, you, turn your radar off. Doesn't need to be on right now.
Yeah. It's like government. One answer for every problem.
Yeah, one size fits all. It's all nails to us.
I will growl and bark at anything.
And I will bite viciously if it doesn't do what I tell it to.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Well, I think that's a pretty good place to drop it off for this evening. Go ahead and plug whatever you guys got. Make sure to send all my listeners your way if they're not there already.
Sure, yeah. So we are the Actual Anarchy Boys. We do the Last Nighters and the Actual Anarchy podcast. We talk about movies from a Rothbardian and anarcho-capitalist perspective. We're also found on the Launchpad Media. We have guests every week, and we talk about a different movie. It's about an hour long, and we have a good time. We've been doing it for 2.5 years now. We're on episode 180 of Actual Anarchy and 123 of the Last Nighters. So check it out at actualanarchy.com or lastnighters.com. You can see all the other stuff I do at danielellwood.com, and you can buy things from Robert. His design work is at trubster.com. That's TRUBBSTER.com.
I think that's everything.
Awesome.
Thank you, Eric.
No problem. I'm glad you guys could come on such short notice. It was like, what, this morning? Pretty much. But thanks again, guys. Can't wait to catch up with you guys again. But y'all have a great night, okay?
All right, you too, man. Thanks a lot. It was a lot of fun.
All right, thanks.